This is Brian Masters with Shiloh Coffee Supply and Hope Coffee. And today I want to show you how to change the springs in the Fracino Retro unit. Occasionally, over years of time, these springs may collapse, and that has to do with if these rubber seals here, which you can watch the other video on how to replace these rubber seals, but if they aren't replaced at a regular maintenance program, water can get up into this section here, and it can possibly corrode some of these springs. And so on a rare occasion, you may need to replace a spring for that. And so to do that process, you're gonna need a couple tools. Obviously the 4mm Allen wrench to be able to get this head off, which you can see in the other video, and a adjustable spanner wrench, or one that fits the bottom of this section. So I want you to look at this particular area. You'll see that there are two holes here, and that's where this spanner wrench comes into play. And I'll demonstrate that in a second. Before that, I want you to see how this is put together. Again, these are the springs, and you can kind of see that there is a washer that sits right here on top of this part. And then there is an inner spring that sits right down in it, and an outer spring that sits on top. And so that's how these double springs work within the Fracino lever machine called the Retro. They're fantastic machines. We use them in our shops and love them because they are consistent and very simple to use. But that's going to help to demonstrate how to replace those. So most likely this is going to be a two-person job because you're going to have to turn this bottom section off. It's going to be on there very tightly. You're going to be using a spanner wrench to be able to do that. And so when you take that spanner wrench, you're going to insert it into this section here, and then you are going to turn it. It is going to have some very hard force on it. So you may want to grab something as well as a friend to go in there to be able to hold this so that it doesn't turn against it. So you are using just normal leverage and be able to turn that particular piece. Now, this one I have loosened ahead of time, and so you will see that this one moves rather easily within that. But within that spanner wrench, you can put that in and just keep cranking it around until you can do that by hand. You probably won't be able to do it by hand for quite a while. And again, this is a very long screw that it's coming off of, so it's going to turn for quite a while. Okay, now it's almost to the end, and I'm going to show you what happens when it comes, because the first thought is the spring is going to send this thing across the room. It will not, but you do want to do it carefully. So as you are unscrewing this, you will notice that this bottom section will just kind of come off. So as it comes off, you see that ring, that washer that's on top of there. Now it may be quite cemented to that bottom section there, but this is the head in which those seals are located. And then you can pull the springs off. If there may be some of them that have collapsed or broken, and those you obviously throw away, and then put your new set on. So I'm going to set that over here so that you can see how this part works. So within this part, you'll see that it's connected up here at the top. There are some bolts that hold the top piece together within that. And so there is a screw down in this section that occasionally this will unscrew with the rest of that part, and you'll need to replace it in there. But that is how you take this apart, and then you just do the reverse of that, put the new springs on, the washer on, insert that in there, and then start turning that on, and you're going to turn for quite a while. And then that spanner wrench will come in handy to tighten it up. You do want to tighten it all the way, and I'll show you an example of that in a second. Okay, I wanted to show you both of these side by side so you can see. This is the one that is correct here on my left, your right. You can see that it's all put together. You can see the difference in height between these two. I have not yet screwed that bottom part on all the way. You can see the height difference, and so when you go to insert that in, if we were to think that's done, go to insert it into the group sleeve, it won't fit. You'll have part of it sticking out the bottom. So you want to make sure that you get that done. In order to do that, You can always look through the springs. If you see any screw threads there, you know you haven't gone far enough. Just keep turning it all the way in. All right, so once you have it all the way turned in, you can just put that back into the group head sleeve, put the bolts right back in, and you are ready to go. Well, thank you for watching these videos from Shiloh Coffee Supply. We have great videos that you can subscribe below on how to use the Fracino machines, as well as how to repair or do any of the maintenance on the Fracino espresso machines and their grinders. Appreciate it very much and have a great day.